Well, hello there, everybody. It's Grandpa Scott, and I'm back with another story and hopefully a great adventure. This book that I'm going to read today is from a long time ago. It was almost 55 years ago that I got this book. And this book was read to me by my mom and dad when I was just a little boy of about 5 years old. And today's story is called Lassie and the Deer Mystery. And Lassie's a collie dog who was very special when I was growing up. We even had his own television show. Well, let's read the story, shall we? Lassie, Lassie, Corey called. Where are you, girl? After a few seconds, he went out of the cabin and called again. But the green and peaceful forest showed no signs of Lassie. I wonder where she is. Corey went about his chores. He filled Lassie's dish with her favorite meat and made his own lunch. But before he began to eat, he called once more, Lassie, come, girl. There was a sudden movement among the trees. Lassie came running toward Corey as fast as she could. I wonder where she was. I was getting worried about you, Corey said. Come and eat now. Lassie barked 3 sharp barks. She did not want to go near her plate. Instead, she stood at the door and barked again, more loudly than before. There must be something going on. You're trying to tell me something, Lassie, Corey said patiently. I should know by this time. As Corey spoke, Lassie ran toward the trees. Now Corey was right behind her. They walked through the forest, over the springy moss and the fallen twigs. Although Lassie was often far ahead of Corey, she waited at each new path to make sure he was keeping up. That's a great dog, isn't it? Then Lassie's nose twitched, and she began to bark excited little barks. There, under a tree, lay a young deer. He wasn't moving. At first, Corey thought he was dead. But the deer's brown eyes were open and staring at him. Huh! Corey rubbed Lassie's head. Good girl! You found a poor little fellow and came and got me. Well, now let's see what happened to him. With his first aid kit ready, Corey examined the deer. On the right leg was an ugly red wound. Seems to me somebody's been doing some illegal hunting here, and in the forest, he muttered aloud. I wish I knew what his weapon was. Wow, something's going on. Corey was working busily. He did not notice that Lassie was sniffing hard, nor did he see she had slipped through the trees and was running off into the forest. Lassie's out on another adventure. Deep in the woods, Lassie stood still and put her nose to the ground. Then, as a sudden breeze moved through the trees, she caught the scent and moved on. Deeper into the woods. I wonder where she's going. Lassie was trotting carefully in the direction her nose led her, when she heard a moan. She sniffed, and then there was a human sound. Someone was in trouble. Following the trail, Lassie heard the moan again. At last, near a clearing, she came upon a boy sprawled out on the ground. His right leg was crumpled under him, and his eyes were closed. He was moaning. Lassie barked softly. The boy opened his eyes. In a whisper, he said, My leg! Help! Please help! The boy was in great pain. Lassie must get Corey to him as soon as possible. Wow! Lassie was panting as she ran to the ranger's cabin. By now, Corey had taken care of the deer's wound and settled him comfortably in the yard. Corey looked up. Where did you run to, girl? He asked, smiling. But the smile faded as Lassie sniffed the first aid and barked loudly. Corey sighed. Oh, no, not again. Yes, girl, I'll come with you. It was as if it weren't for the deer, it might have been dead by now. So Lassie saved that deer, and now they're going after the little boy. Lassie led Corey straight to where the boy lay. The boy's eyes were open, but they were full of pain. My leg, he moaned. I think I broke my leg. Corey looked at the boy's face. I know you, he said. You're Bill Miller's grandson. I've seen you in town with him. He told me you were visiting from the city. Now let's see that leg now. He was a ranger and he knew first aid, so he's going to take a look at his leg. But as Corey began to examine him, the little boy stared up at him. You, the forest ranger? He asked. Corey nodded. The boy swallowed hard. I better tell you, I was out playing with my slingshot, and I heard something move in the bushes. I shot at it, and then I got scared, so I just ran. I ran so fast I didn't see the log. I tripped, and I thought nobody would ever find me. You're a lucky boy. That Lassie did find you, Corey said seriously. She also found the deer you shot. You know, even a slingshot makes a mighty nasty wound. But luckily, we were able to save the deer. Ah, that's what happened to the deer, huh? I'm sorry, the boy said. He gently stroked Lassie's back. I always thought the woods were for hunting. I didn't know. I'll never do anything like that again, I promise. Okay, Corey smiled at the boy. I think you've learned your lesson. Let's have a look at that leg. I think you may have a bad sprain. Great, it's not a break. That would be terrible. Lassie stood quietly watching. At last, Corey noticed her. Well, girl, you found a hurt deer, and to top that, you solved the mystery of the hunter. That's a pretty good day's work. Time to eat now. Do you think Lassie earned her supper? I think so. Eat, Lassie had forgotten all about food. She was starving. Barking happily, she ran all the way home. Wow! Isn't that a cool story? How Lassie, Corey's dog, went out and found the deer and then found the little boy who was also hurt and probably saved him from a lot of pain, and he might have never been found without Lassie. Well, that's a lesson for you to learn, that no matter where you go, always let somebody know where you're going to be at, whether it's in the woods or around town. Well, you know what time it is. It's time to go outside and have some fun, because Lassie's story is all done.